Sir.
Who else
Yes,
brings it to
sir.
you other than BVP?
Listen, we do it best.
Hey, let them know. Let them know.
Yes, sir. So, can you guys see the view count on there? I'm not sure what your view looks like, but right now it says 0 people are watching. That will go up shortly.
Okay.
But we are live. So we're live, we are recording, and it's Thursday.
Nice.
It's Thursday. So you know what that means.
It's almost Friday.
Listen, we are back around the herd with Bison Venture Partners. We took last week off. Hopefully the people missed us, but we're back. And we're back with some content that I think the people are going to like, because last time we did a live deal review, the people seem to enjoy it. They're very engaged, learned a lot, helped us analyze the deal. So I'm looking forward to doing some more of that today. What's going on, Zolika? Zolika is tuning in on LinkedIn.
See, where are you seeing people? Do you have LinkedIn open right now?
I do on my phone, but
Okay.
there's a little chat box here. I can show y'all in a second. Let me show you this right here.
Hey, there it is. Nice.
Yeah. So things should pop up there.
There it is.
A little fancy.
Hey, okay. I like it. Also, we got the third member of the group.
Yes, sir. First time on the show.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Alexander Jeffrey. I'm a 4th and final year JD MBA, originally from Brooklyn, New York. You know, I go to school with these brothers. I'm also a member of BVP. So happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Alex has raised the bar. I don't think either of us have shown up around the herd with a button down, you know, top few buttons unbuttoned. So Alex is setting a new standard for us. So next week,
we're going to have it on. No.
Just be ready. Just be ready. But yes, we're hyped. We're hyped to have Alex joining us today. Alex, we'll start with you. Just, every week we go around the herd. We just try to see how everyone's week was. So, Alex, how was your week this week?
My week went pretty well. It's my final semester. So every week has to count more than the last. So going into this week, I'm actually in a thank you, Zolika. I am actually in an entrepreneurship law and policy class for, the law half of my degree and program. So this week we had, and I don't want to missay the man's name, but we had a entrepreneur who, very much like myself, started off with his JD, went into legal practice, and then kind of ventured out, and he ended up in real estate. And this man talks about millions like it's, just a few dollars. So it was an interesting conversation, and it put me in the headspace to like really push this semester, because the way that he talked about it seemed like things just kind of started lining up as he pushed himself a little bit more, talked to the right people, got into the alum network, and just saw how he could, move around. So I think that's really set me up to have a good week.
I love it. I love it. I'm still like, I'm reminiscing on when Alex said 4th and final year. You know what I mean? Like last semester, like I'm like dreaming. Like I really started daydreaming. Right. I'm like, wow, final semester, that would be nice. But we're gonna get there. Glad your week has been going well, my brother. Sir Bass.
Yes.
Coming off of a calm vacation.
Yes, indeed.
Please tell us about it.
Yes, indeed. You got to rest and restore. That's why we were gone last week, not last year. But yeah, last week we got back from Tulum, Mexico, about an hour and some change south of Cancun. So it's a whole story of that trip. Like as soon as we landed, the taxis, they were on strike. So there's that. So what normally is an hour and a half trip turned into a 4 hour drive. So that was nice. Like literally they had taxis like lined up on the highway and like going like 20 miles per hour. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like this would happen on the vacation I'm going on. But no, it was definitely lovely, definitely beautiful, definitely great to get away. And it's always nice to, the beauty of it is what I realized is that travel actually rewires your brain to think differently right there. And one of the things outside of almost dying in a cenote, and I'll get to that story in a second, but you get there and you just pick up different things and how different people move. And while you're there, you just learn different cultures and how they act. And it I don't know, nothing short of astounding and transformative. Like one of the things I picked up while I was there was just the art of being extremely grateful for things. So not just like being grateful, but grateful for things like your muscles or organs doing what they're supposed to. Right? Have you ever thanked your heart for just like doing what it does? Like it just beats all day, and sometimes we don't ever think to like, yeah, hey, I'm grateful for a heart that beats. I'm grateful for a brain that works and gives me thoughts. I'm grateful for hands that can like actually function. It's like even things that are like that little that sometimes maybe in the regular world that we overlook, out there when you actually have time to sit and ponder on it, it's it seems so simple that we just don't bring it back to real world. So having just a notion like that, and also learning how to let things just come to you rather than having to go out and go get it. So it was transformative learning that way. And also I have to give you all this cenote story since I haven't actually put it out there. But for those that don't know what a cenote is, essentially it's kind of like this underground pond / pool / well. I don't know the exact details. Excuse me for not having that. But what they give you, it's a place that you can go snorkel at. The water is extremely clear and it's beautiful, right? So they give you this life vest, and they also give you the big snorkel and like the mouthpiece, right? So on this trip is about 29 people, including myself, my fitness mentor, and also my man Jake. So he's a gentleman that works out with us. So there's all three of us black there enjoying time with a whole bunch of wellness people, right? It's chiropractors, it's physical therapists, it's a couple other people, I forget their professions. It's just they were just sprinkled throughout, right? So we're all have our gear on. Everybody's starting to jump into cenote, right? So me, I'm not necessarily scared of jumping in water, so I get all my stuff on and I jump in. While I'm in this water, I know that cenotes are harder to swim in because they don't have a whole bunch of minerals like a lake or ocean would, right? So I'm like, all right, let me check this life vest real quick, right? So I get my life vest. I don't do anything. I'm like, let me see if this thing is actually going to keep me afloat. So I'm holding on to it, and I started sinking underwater. I was like, okay, this is doing absolutely nothing, but let me check it again, right? So I put my hands on my vest and I start sinking again. I was like, okay, this life vest isn't going to do anything for me. But fortunately, there is a line that runs through the cenote. There's like the little red line with red buoys, right? So where we're going first is like this little bat cave, and this line goes directly all the way down through the bat cave and back. So what I have to do, I have to get over to this rope to like kind of just check myself and make sure I get my groundings right, because I'm not trying to panic out here in the cenote. So I'm like, all right, well, let me try to swim over here to this red line, and I'm not trying to do like the panic big leg kick like kids do when they first learn how to swim, right? So I'm over here just trying to do like this leisurely stroke, but I'm not swimming as far as I think I'm swimming. So I keep on trying to reach for this red rope. And if you've ever been in a pool, you try to reach for the side to like get out and you miss it. You feel like you're about to drown. So I did that like 18, not 18, but like 8 different times. I'm like, okay, this man might actually die in a cenote. Like all this work and growth I've done within this past year, I'm about to just die in a cenote. Oh man, especially being a fitness dude. It was humbling. is what it was. So finally make it over to this rope and like collect myself. And the bad part is like as I'm making it over there, my man Jake is right behind me. He's like, bro, we look so black right now. And I'm just, man, when I mean to tell you, I'm cracking up at like the bottom of my soul with like the most healthiest laugh. It was it was a moment. But yeah, but even on top of that, like once I was even at the rope, like the part that truly hurt my heart is that I'm over here struggling to get to this damn rope. Once I get on the rope, I'm trying to like see how to collect myself and see how everybody's like floating in this water so effortlessly. I put my damn goggles on. I look under, and everybody has like this little luxurious little kick going, right? And just kind of casually just floating in the middle of the water with no assistance. I'm like, okay, I'm clearly doing this wrong. So finally figured out how to just like tread water. So essentially what you have to do, if anybody doesn't know, like you're just essentially running very casually underwater and doing like little backstroke type motion. And that's how you're able to just get out there, chill, and sit there in case anybody didn't know. But yeah, so that was my humbling moment there.
Would you do it again?
Yes, because I'm gonna be in the pool. And here's the thing with fears or anything we're terrible at, you can get better at them. So I will get better at them. I'll just get in the pool,
That's right.
figure out how to swim, get confident in it, and guess what? Now cenote swimming will be unlocked for me. So
love it.
That's the motto with things.
I gotta make it out for the next trip.
Yes, you do. But Sir Gary, how was yours? How was your
great week? It was a great week. Fantastic week. Yep. Really excited about an event we're working on, networking event for entrepreneurs and investors coming out here in West Philly, February 24th.
Look it.
Yep. Collaborating with the amazing team at Relink. My guy Derek and Mamadou are the masterminds behind the event, and I'm grateful that they reached out, and I'm glad that now our teams are collaborating to try to just create a platform where we can connect some local investors who happen to all be Black investors based in Philly in different industries: real estate, venture capital, small business, and connecting them with entrepreneurs who are looking for capital, right? So that'll be one of the things that we do to celebrate Black History Month, which is quickly approaching. So excited about all the progress we're making there. We will make sure that we send out the flyer, the Eventbrite, so everybody can register. And I think it'll be a good time. It'll be our first in-person event as BVP and our first real collaboration on an event. So very excited.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Now, speaking of investors,
yes,
we started doing this thing where, as a team, we started just reviewing different investment opportunities that are available to the public, right? So part of our mission at Bison Venture Partners is to educate our community on what it means to think like an angel investor, right? How do you think like a venture capitalist and invest in private deals, companies that are not listed on the stock market, but potentially could be one day, right? And certainly can contribute to your wealth building journey. All right. So we started doing this thing where we review deals live, and it's one of us will pick a deal and the rest of us have not reviewed the deal, right? So we're literally doing it live with everybody tuning in, and our community gets to just see how we think, why we pick certain deals, what types of questions we ask each other about deal terms, industries, traction, founder background, whatever. And it's up to the community to decide if they want to invest in that deal or not, right? But it is certainly for educational purposes. And since we have a rising lawyer, soon to be lawyer on the call right now, I want to make sure that the disclaimer is set. This is for educational purposes only. This is not an official endorsement of any company. You should do your own due diligence and understand that all investments involve risks, And if you do decide to invest in any of these companies, you should expect to lose all of your money. So do not invest more than you are willing to lose. Alex, how'd I do?
Comfortable. Yeah, comfortable with
These are not consulting services.
Mm,
They are just for educational purposes.
there we go.
You're good to go.
All right. Whew. Box checked. All right. With that being said, I did the last deal. So this week, B has found a deal that we're going to review together. B, before I go ahead and bring up the page, do you want to share just a little bit about how you came across this company and what inspired you to want to talk about it around the herd?
Can do. So the deal that I found, it's this company called Rejoy, and essentially they do functional sports beverages. So being a fitness man myself, always interested in the things that can help within somebody's fitness or fitness journey. So always looking for things like that. I think it hits home for me because within here, there are a couple of guys that actually put this together. They do triathletes this year with the newfound respect I have for swimming. I'm working on and training for triathlon. So there is that. And a couple of these gentlemen have actually competed within it and actually are pretty decent. So there kind of hits home with an athlete trying to do something outside of their sport, especially within the business world. So it's something that I connect with, which is why I found it, brought it to you. I would love to review it with you gentlemen and understand like, hey, good points, bad points. And is this something that potentially I could invest in?
Yeah, I say let's do it. So, one thing I do want to highlight is that investors typically have a focus area, and a lot of times that focus area comes about because that investor has a background working in a certain industry, right, or currently works in an industry, or is just interested in that particular niche for some reason. So, like you said, you've got a background in this space, and it's something that you could potentially consume and enjoy yourself to prepare, recover. So yeah, I say let's go ahead and dive into it. I'll just give a quick highlight that this company is currently raising on wefunder.com. So if anyone is interested in checking it out, you can search Rejoy at wefunder.com and determine for yourself if you are interested in backing the deal. So with that, B, what are some things that jumped out to you when you first landed on this investment campaign page?
First thing that jumped out to me, well, as I went through it, I didn't get a chance to. I mean, the video I'm sure is solid, but I really wanted to look at one, the highlights, and then two, I'm always a fan of the founders, right? Like who's the team running the company, right? And that's usually what I look for first, because it's not necessarily the company itself, it's the people. So who are the people that you have in place to do so? So looked at Martin, he's an amateur triathlete, but then you also have Diego, who has experience with Anheuser-Busch within my previous role. I know the kind of monster that Anheuser-Busch is, especially within beverages and all the kind of power that they can control within especially a beverage space. So if he's familiar with that kind of network and experientially dealing with brands in that sense, that's huge. And then also you have Ronnie, who is an 11-time Ironman champion. And if anybody's ever ran or done any kind of endurance event, they know how difficult those can be. So you do have these players that have the knowledge, and then you also have Ronnie, who has the endurance. So just those kind of factors alone within a team can be very beneficial. So that's something that caught me off rip. And then trying to understand like, hey, what's the product that they are providing? So they have a recovery drink, and then the rest of them are hydration. So it's things that you can use within your performance. And especially within that, it's not just your average recovery drink. It's a plant powered recovery drink. And now, once we think about sustainability within any kind of industry and kind of where the market's going within health and also big business, they love sustainability, especially plant powered things these days. So they're right in the market with that. So it's just trying to understand deeper, is this something that lasts? Is this something that, maybe runs out of fuel after a while? No pun intended.
Yeah, very nice. All right, so looks like they got good stuff going. Their branding seems to be really strong. We haven't yet gotten into the deal terms or any numbers, but were there any numbers that stuck out to you, B, when you were analyzing this deal yourself?
Numbers that stuck out. I would say the numbers that stuck out, if we go to details, the net losses kind of jumped out at me, is the negative 400,000. So, but I do also like the revenue. That's damn near twice of it. So that is what I do like. But yeah, I would say that's just the first take at it. So, but definitely wanted to bring it to you. Obviously, you are the mastermind within this, so definitely want to put it in front of your eyes.
I am simply a student. I am just a student with the rest of you all. We are learning together. We are definitely learning together. But definitely, since I went through and put together the WeFunder campaign, have some knowledge just about like where to find things on the campaign page. So what we talked about last week was whenever anyone is looking at any deal on WeFunder specifically, it's very easy for the video, for the images, for the slide deck to be really enticing, right? It's like a bright and shiny object that draws you in. And you may look at the deal terms on the right side of the page really quickly, and you see a bunch of money that's been raised from a certain number of investors. And then you see the specifics of the terms. So all of that stuff is cool. All of that stuff is great. But what we talk about is you want to make sure that for you to really consider this as an investment opportunity, that the company has filed their official paperwork to offer this investment opportunity to the public. So for that to be true, they had to file their paperwork with the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, to make their terms official. And the only way that you'll know that they're official is if the campaign page has a details section here, and when you scroll, you see their financials. If you are able to see all of this information, that means that the company has filed their paperwork and has officially taken this investment opportunity public. So very important that we can see these numbers. So it's a good sign that we can see these because the company has to be transparent with their numbers. Otherwise, it is fraudulent. So I would say for myself, I wouldn't dive into the financials just yet. I guess I'm curious to know when the company launched, because we're looking at financials ending December 31st, 2021. So what this tells me is that the company filed their paperwork last year. They didn't launch it this year. Otherwise, they would have to include 2022 financials as well. But where I'll start is after B, since you gave us sort of the high level overview of the company, I'm like,
yep.
For me personally, I'm looking at, okay, so they got some interesting branding, all that kind of good stuff. But how much are they looking to raise? Right. So it looks like they're looking to raise about $100,000. Actually, let's see. Actually, it looks like they're offering early bird terms to investors of their first $100,000 on this campaign. So we might need to do a little bit more digging to figure out how much total funding they're looking to raise. But the terms that we're looking at right here, which if you look at investment terms on the right side of the page, you see that it's a convertible note. So a convertible note is debt that converts to equity at a certain point. And the valuation cap that the company has set is $10 million. So investors who invest today essentially invest at the $10 million valuation cap, whereas investors who come in after the company has raised $100,000 on this campaign, they're coming in at a $12 million valuation cap. So it really just boils down to early early investors get a discount, right? They're more bang for their buck if they invest early as opposed to waiting to the point where this company, maybe it takes off, the campaign takes off, they raise $1 million on the campaign. But the first investors, that first $100,000, anybody that got in at that point, they're getting the best terms in this deal.
Yeah.
With that, the campaigns typically do offer investor perks. I don't know if you looked at the perks here, but they want to incentivize you to invest more money, right?
Mhm.
So the bare minimum you can invest in this deal is $100.
Mhm.
But again, the company wants to raise at least 100,000. So to
Yep.
get that, they want to incentivize you to invest more. So if you invest $250, you're going to get 10% off all online orders. If you do 500, you get 20% off. So okay, they're giving you a discount on their products, which is, I think, is great, right? Because we talk about this all the time. This isn't a Kickstarter where you put up money and the company has to send you a product, right?
Yeah.
You're investing in this company, so the perks are a return on your investment, right? Like you own
Yep.
equity in the business, like that is the perk. But these perks that the campaign page allows you to set up are just things to sweeten the pot a little bit. So
Yep.
they are doing something I think is brilliant. Like they are saying, hey, you can invest in us, and we also want you to be a customer of our business. So they're giving you discounts to shop with them. So anyway, it looks like they got tiers that go all the way up to $10,000 and more. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah. They got 250, 500. Yeah.
So okay. So
I want to see what the investor perk is for the 250.
250,000. You get a
Yeah.
monthly update call with the team, a seat on our advisory board, and
That's
a free 1-year subscription, as well as $5,000 in store credit to use or gift.
I was about to say, as
So
they should.
yeah, I mean, $250,000. Like, yeah, I need to be on the board. I need,
Right.
and honestly, okay, like really, if I'm investing $250,000, I'm
Yeah.
likely not going through this portal.
Yeah.
I'm investing directly
Mhm.
onto the cap table, right? So,
Yeah.
um, how WeFunder works is it's really cool, and it just pulls all of these crowd investors into one entity. So if Rejoy is able to raise $100,000 from the community,
Mhm.
all of that money gets pooled into one investment entity, and that one investment entity becomes the investor in to Rejoy. And the cap table that a company has just includes all of the investors who own equity in the business. So um, if you're a large dollar investor, you want to be directly on the cap table. You don't want to be a part of, you don't want to be a part of like the community aspect. You
Yeah.
want to be directly on, like that is the biggest perk. And then the advisory board, like that's a big deal too. You have a say over, the direction that the company decides to take.
Yeah. Buddy just coming in like, I am the community. Like, what?
Right.
I have my own community, yo. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's
So
great.
those are some of my initial thoughts. Alex, you got anything? Or questions? We can, if you bring up a question,
Yeah.
we can try to figure out how to find that info on the page.
Yeah. And it's just a thought, really, not really a question. But when you were first going through it, B, I was like, what makes this beverage, this sports beverage, different from others? And you
Mm-hmm.
said that it's plant based, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is that something that's unique, or is that like a growing trend in the sports beverage, sphere?
I would put it more in as a trend. I would say for me personally, I think at this point of my fitness level, I kind of know what works for me and what doesn't. So I'm kind of I'm not necessarily stuck in my ways, but it's like, hey, I already know what's familiar with me, and I have a little room to try something else to see if it works for me, right? I'm still open to trying new things, but you kind of know it works. So with this, I want to see, because I've tried other plant-based ingredients and I've liked them. Do they fit, or are they available where I could get them from? That depends. So that's what I'm curious about with them, because especially with that and as a Bush background, depending on like how well they can distribute, and if it's everywhere, like if you're hitting stores like the 7-Elevens, like the Quick Trips, if you're able to get in those small convenience stores where you can able to pop in and grab one, then yeah. So I would say I'm open to trying this out. It looks very intriguing to me. So
Yeah. I think it's intriguing to me too, because I went to like a natural foods expo late last year, and I was helping our good friends at Mocktail Club push some products. Mocktailclub.com. Check it out. Premium crafted non-alcoholic cocktails inspired by world travel, Black woman owned, and delicious. So at the expo, a lot of new brands are showcasing their products and whatnot. And one of the big things now is like, good for you, all that kind of stuff, low sugar, natural ingredients, um, but then also functional benefits, which is a highlight here. So like, uh, it's something I'm learning more about, but the functional benefits is like, okay, if I drink this, it improves some aspect of my life. It gives me focus, right? I guess what focus, energy, maybe sleep. I'm not sure what other benefits are in there. Maybe I don't know if digestion is in there,
yeah.
but um, with the expo, it wasn't just like consumers walking around; it was buyers, right? Like Whole Foods is walking around, ShopRite, Acme grocery stores, whatever. People who buy the products to put on the shelves. And they were asking questions to brands like, oh, are there any functional benefits? Because that's a big thing consumers are looking for in certain markets. So the fact that Rejoy has that is interesting for sure. Yeah, I'd be interested in learning just more about like what the functional benefits are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to a couple of other sections on the page. So we talked about some of the highlights. We talked about the deal terms, the investment perks. Always go to what people say. What people say include just a lot of testimonials from customers, friends, family. Usually this section includes people who are just saying business, right? So you got a lot of mentioning CBD being hot on the market. A lot of people are looking for this, so they're excited about that. A lot of people just saying this is the wave, niche market, it's growing, critical, very attractive market. Yeah, so a lot of great testimonials. But as we discuss, the real place that you want to focus on, if you want to hear what the people are saying, is you go to ask a question. Go to the Q&A section. And this is where things get interesting, because anyone can go into the ask a question tab and ask a clarifying question, right? You want to see the founders, like we talk about our process, like you want to see how the founders engage with questions.
Yeah.
First of all, are they going in and actually answering questions that are being asked on the page? If you land on a campaign and you see a bunch of questions but no answers, that's a bad sign. Red flag.
Being real shady, man. What's up?
Yeah. But if you land on it and you see, okay, the founders are responding, right? That's a good sign. It's a great sign. But also how they respond is very important. So let's just pick the top question here. Most popular question by likes. Keegan asks, my question is to clarify that the $1,250 perk for annual 3 case per month subscription. Is this for life of the company or just for 1 year? Diego, the co-founder, jumps in. Hi, Keegan. With an investment of $1,250, you get a 1 year subscription for free with 3 cases per month. Cheers. So it looks like it's for the year, I think is how Diego clarified it. I will say, yeah. So that's fine. Long answers from founders and co-founders, team members, I also think is good. They're not just jumping in and just responding because it's, they feel like they have to. It's they really care. So this person, Donovan's asking, I see this is a convertible note. What's the process of pricing for converting the note and time thereof? So Mariano has jumped in with a very thorough answer. I'm not going to read all of this, but if you want to learn more about how a convertible note works, I recommend Googling it. But in summary, it is debt today that converts to equity at a later time.
Question though.
Sure.
Is this like please advise ASAP by Donovan? Is that suspicious to you at all?
Oh, please advise ASAP. Does it make me suspicious of Donovan?
Yeah.
No. I will say, like,
curious.
I mean, people, when you land on these campaigns, especially if it's a campaign that could be a hot one, right? Yep. Like, you want to get in soon, right? You don't want the deal to. Okay. You don't want. It's not likely that the deal's just going to close. Like, you would probably see if it's going to close soon, but you want to get in on the early bird terms, right? And if it's a hot deal, it's like you see that bar is moving up. You're like, no, I want the early bird terms, so I need the founder to respond ASAP. So I get it. Sometimes people that ask questions can be a little rude in how they ask, but I don't see a problem with this one.
Yeah, no, I asked because as we're educating people, there's also a certain etiquette that you have to keep within these kind of dialogues, right? So I also want to make sure that the people who are, if this is your first time investing, like, hey, how do you frame these questions up to make sure you're getting the best response to make the best decision for you, right? So if it's one of those things where it's encouraged to encourage urgency within it, then let's make sure our people know that they need to do that, right? So
no, absolutely. No, that's a great point. I would say, for all of our current investors and prospective investors out there, just think about asking your question in a way that is not aggressive, and understand that if you have a question, most likely somebody else has a question. So it's good to go ahead and ask it, put it out there if you don't see someone else has asked it already. And just know that, these entrepreneurs are, yes, they're raising money. They would love to have you as an investor. But they're running the business too, right? They're very busy operating the business. Now they're also fundraising, which is in and of itself a full-time job. So, you may not get a response within maybe not even 24 hours, right? So, you might have to wait a couple days for founders to get back to you, depending on what's going on. But I think it's okay to say, hey, I really want to invest in this company. Can you let me know the answer to this as soon as you can?
Yep. I hear you.
Yes, sir. And I would say, if you really want to incentivize the founders to respond quickly, maybe you put a little note. Hey, I'm interested in investing $1,000 into this round, right? Like, hey, giving them out. Hey, I got 10K for you, just waiting. So here's my question, and that might get them to answer faster.
Gotcha. Did Nicole teach us that? Like, lead with the money?
That's what she said. Lead with the money.
Yeah, lead with the money, man.
Lead with the money. Yep. So what else do we want to look at on this deal? What questions do we have? Any outstanding questions you have?
Just insight so far as I kept on scrolling down that ask a question. It's nice to see that the response time is on point. Like as soon as somebody asks a question, it's more of a same day response. I think there's only been one that I've seen that they haven't responded to same day. And it's also nice to see that Buddy's hitting different languages with it too. So if they're saying that, hey, we're looking to be a global company, we're like, well, you better have somebody who's able to be global. Right. So it's one of those things. It's nice to see in just the, I guess, capability that the team has. So that's cool to see. And my computer's going really slow, so that's beautiful. But yeah, that's what I have for you so far.
Cool. Alex, anything from you? There's something that jumped out to me that I can bring up.
I have more of a like market question, right? So
Sure.
I actually last summer I worked on a sports drink. I'm not sure I could say for which company, but there was this idea that during COVID everybody became more focused on their health, and you saw the increase of all of these, healthcare products and sports and wellness products shoot up. And I guess this is more so towards your expertise, B. But do you think this is like a bubble that's gonna burst soon as people start to realize, like, yeah, I'm not working out enough to be drinking 20 energy drinks or like 20 fitness drinks?
Yeah, I think it is more of a maturity within, I would say, the fitness space to, and I don't think that it's a trend that's necessarily going to go down because it's just more education that's out there, right? So right now, like what's more popular or at least growing some traction, and even for myself, is just like uh rocking barefoot shoes, or maybe it's more functional. Like I think people have grown tired of the days of just like, hey, I got to get in and do these extremely hard workouts and whatnot and just try to kill myself in the gym in order to see results. No, I think people understand now that it's about like, hey, I want to get in, I want to do things right, and I want to make sure that they're quality. At least that's the way I view it, and that's the way I'm seeing it. And I think the more education that's getting out there for people and how to treat their body better is going to help them to make better decisions on how they're moving and also what they're putting into their body. So I would say within this, within plant-based, I think that it's growing, but also people are still like, it's that early adopter stage of like, hey, is this really worth it? Like, is there a true difference between like these normal products that bigger companies are putting out, or if it truly needs to be plant-based? And I think people will make that decision just based on the results, right? So it's like, is a plant-based product truly going to give me is it going to give me a faster running time? Is it going to give me a faster swim time? Is it going to make me more clear within my decisions and brain functionality, right? uh and also, I think for some people, I know for myself, are even trying to cut back on caffeine. So it's even like, are these products that don't have caffeine, how do they make me feel? How do they make me perform? So I think it's a very results based. And I would say right now, we're still waiting for those results to come out. So if anybody's viewing this and has those results, please share them. Definitely here to still learn more. So, but yeah, no, I would say the pandemic kind of just exposed a lot of things of how people were treating themselves and how fast things can go south when they don't. Right. So might do sense.
Yeah. Wow. That was great. You did mention a buzzword. I heard the
Yes.
word caffeine.
Ooh, caffeine.
And if you are looking for your caffeine fix, BVP Coffee Co. has got you covered. Freshly roasted, premium coffee, roasted the same day it ships to your door. We got beans from all around the world. So if you love world travel and exploration, we got beans from Tanzania, Colombia,
Hey.
Central America, South America, Bali, all around the world. So bvp.coffee is the website. bvp.coffee. Get you a bag because it's delicious. It'll keep you up. This is what energizes me to review these deals for you all.
Yes, indeed.
So if you want to review some deals and build some wealth like we do at BVP, visit bvp.coffee. and get you some.
Yes, indeed. And to add a little, not necessarily caveat, but to add more to that, right? For the people that are trying to either stay away from caffeine or anything like that, let's not demonize caffeine, right? Like, usually the things that you hear terrible about caffeine are the people that have or need 4 to 5 cups a day and just abusing it, right? Done correctly, caffeine can be very beneficial to you, right? Abusing anything is going to be detrimental to you. So please don't get lost within the, oh, I just need to be completely off caffeine. Like, no, use it when you need it. 1 cup a day, 1, 2, within the right circumstances is going to be beneficial for you. Sometimes you do need that extra pep in your step and, a lovely world-class bean to get you going through the day, which we provide. But just making sure you're aware, you're responsible of it there. So if you're looking to cut back, definitely do so, but don't treat it as like, oh, I can't have any caffeine in my body, because that's just not the case. So
thank you for that, Sir Bass. And I will say we have a decaffeinated option on the way. Half calf will be available in the store tomorrow.
Look at that. It's like we accommodate or something.
You know what I mean? It's like we listen to what the people want. So yes, we have our own products as well. So, everyone knows that we raised on We Funder ourselves. So for all of our investors, your investment increases in value every time we sell a product. So go ahead and get you a bag of that BVP coffee, and know that today, as of today, you can actually subscribe to have a fresh bag delivered to you weekly or monthly. So you don't even have to go through the hard work of going back to the website and renewing your order. You can subscribe and save money on your purchase. So bvp.coffee. Back to Rejoy, since we have a few minutes left here.
Yes, indeed.
A few things that I did want to talk about, and I just talked about with our product, is return on investment is what you want to be thinking about as an investor. How am I going to get my money back? Plus or times some multiple. So with Rejoy here, we already talked about the investment term. So it's a convertible note. So you should expect to own equity in the business. And you want to know what the goals of the company are so that you can make a determination of, okay, when should I expect to be repaid, right? When am I going to get my money back? And how much money should I maybe expect to get, right? So we are talking about early stage startup companies. A lot of the numbers that are going to be on these pages are they're educated guesses, right? They're projections. You do some financial, analysis to figure out how big the market size is and how much this business could generate in revenues. And what Rejoy is saying is they want to scale and disrupt the sports beverage industry specifically and achieve $50 million in revenues in 5 years. All right. So they want to become a $50 million company. I'm like, okay, that's the goal. Love it. Love the sound of that. Right. And they're saying that it would be less than 0.5% of the industry if they were to become a $50 million brand. But it would be enough to be considered for a partnership with a big player or an exit. So exit strategy is something you should be thinking about. What are the founders looking to do to return capital to investors, to sell the business at some point? And, when we talk about like technology startups, the exit for a lot of them are, IPOs, and even CPG brands as well. They can IPO too. But for some of these brands like Rejoy, the acquisition, right, being sold to a larger player might be the best bet. So I like how they've outlined, like they've done the work to show, okay, here are all the potential companies that are out there that could acquire a brand like ours, right? Here are accelerator incubator programs that are somewhat relevant to us that we could potentially go through. And those accelerators are all with large companies. So it adds to your possibilities of partnerships and things like that. And then you've just got different companies that also have investment arms. So I like that they did the work to show that, hey, here are all of the ways that we could potentially exit the business, being acquired by these different larger companies. And they also show that recent acquisitions have been in the range of 7 to 10x multiples of revenue. So if the company was doing 50 million in revenue, they could be acquired for 10x. That is what they're saying. Things are going for right now. So I like the sound of that. Of course, the company has to prove that they can get to that point.
Yeah.
But just to that, something that stuck out. Hopefully, I can find it. They were talking about revenue streams that they currently have, and this is something you also want to look for, because with products they're talking about, they have the ready here, right? They have the powder. What do you call these things? Powder sticks.
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense. And then somewhere in here, it was talking about like league that they started. But I don't know if you saw that before. I'm gonna find it because I just have to.
I'll try to get
dive a
there
little
too,
bit deeper now.
because mine just froze.
It's all good. But yeah, they mentioned that they started. Oh, here it is. They launched their own sports league called NPL, National Paddle League, for community building and a new revenue stream. So I'm like, okay, they're shouting that out, right? They mention that as a highlight.
Yep.
And now I'm curious. I'm like, well, how much of your revenue comes from that sports league? Because that really sounds like a totally different business, right?
Yeah.
And let's say all the revenue that they're talking about having right now, when you just go to the 111,000 in revenue in 2021, like, okay, but if the majority of that came from the sports league, that is being pitched to me on this campaign page, right? So that's something that I would want to ask a question about.
Gotcha. What I also found on this lovely frozen screen that I'm looking at, does it worry you at all within investment terms how it has the 12 million evaluation, then that scratch through, and it has the 10 million valuation? Does that worry you at all?
No, it's actually a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing. So it is telling us that this is a deal. This is a discount. So normally they would be offering this investment opportunity at a $12 million valuation cap. So essentially, imagine, okay, my investment today turns into equity when the company is valued at $12 million, just to sort of generalize it. Now they're saying if you invest early, you're investing in a company that's worth less money. So you're getting in earlier, right? So if you get in early, you have better terms than if you get in later.
Gotcha. So I mean, it's to, I guess, put it to help people compare it. So it's kind of like you're getting in, let's say, random company, like, I don't know, BVP. Like you got in when we were worth $100, but now we're up at 1,000.
Exactly.
It's going to cost differently, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of math that goes into it to figure out exactly how much equity you own. Like, it is a convertible note, so like I'm not an expert at all in convertible notes, but I know for a fact that essentially it's debt on the books today, but at a certain point it converts to equity, and you want the equity in the business. You don't want to just offer the company a loan. So that's sort of the benefit of it.
Nice.
Yep. So that is Rejoy. I would say For me personally, if I were to really consider investing in this business, I would visit their website. I would, buy some of their products and definitely taste them myself. B, I think especially for you, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for us, really, like as BVP,
Yeah.
right? Like when we invest in a business, it's not just invest in the business and forget about it. It's invest in a business
Yeah.
and then add value to the business, right? As a collective. So just like I'm always talking about Mocktail Club, right? It's the same type of thing. Like we need to be pushing their products too, to support, because it is all about community for us. So I would want to know that the product is quality first, and I actually enjoy it. And if I actually enjoy it, I'm comfortable pushing it. I
Yeah.
would become an investor gladly.
Yeah. I mean, and anybody that's looking to obviously grow as an investor, like make it easy on yourself. Like, right. For mocktail, it's easy for us to do because I've tried mocktail, I enjoy it. And also I've taken it to a party where I've given it to somebody and it literally changed their whole night because now instead of them trying to be sober for the evening, they have something that, because sometimes being at a party and you're being sober, you're kind of like the outlier within the group, right? Because you don't have anything in your hand or you have like a water cup. But now you can actually walk around with a can, and she was up like actually she's a part of the party now just because she has something in her hand that doesn't look like it's water, and it's actually an enjoyable product. So when you are investing in these companies, make it easy for yourself. Like make it things that you actually use and can do. Like I remember I hit Gary up after I got one of our hoodies, and I'm like, Gary, this is a damn good hoodie, man. Like
Yes, sir.
that might be one of my favorite hoodies I have. And it's
Buttery
like,
was the word you used.
oh, if there was a hoodie that I could go to sleep in, it is that BVP hoodie. So that's a soft plug. But yes, if you want one of them hoodies,
Yes,
that
sir.
somebody might jack from you one.
We got him.
Yeah, get that hoodie. Oh, that's a quality hoodie. I love that. So, but
Love it.
yeah, no, back to the investor. Get something that's easy for you, that you like, that you enjoy. That it's not just about the money. You actually enjoy the people. You enjoy the product. And it's just easy for you to tell somebody else about it. So
Yeah, that's it. That's
yeah.
that's what it's all about. And I would say
Mhm.
even too, just as I don't know, my final point, let's say I tried the product, didn't like it, right?
Mhm.
But cared about the company, right? I would
Mhm.
share that feedback and say, hey, I think here are some ways that maybe you can improve, or hey, like, maybe your quality assurance isn't right. Something was off, blah, blah, blah. Like you can still provide constructive criticism and positive feedback without just tearing down a company. You don't just have to, have a bad experience and try to burn everything down. You could have a not so great experience and try to help the company improve.
Exactly. And with that being said, let me open the doors for conversation. If there's anything that you see us doing, always here to learn. So if we can improve in any way, and that if you ever have any questions, please do not be afraid to let us know. So
I love it. We have one of our all-star investors tuning in, KG, and his groom. Also just asked a question. Alex, is there a story behind the scarves in the background?
ooh. He's player, that's why.
There's a story for each one.
Mm.
It would take a while to tell all of them. I guess I should pick one, right? This one, I guess, is the most interesting. So this is not to be whatever, but this is a Louis Vuitton scarf.
Ooh.
The first time I went to Essence Fest last year, I was having a really good time, and I was like, I want to get something to commemorate this. So I went down to the mall that was down there in New Orleans, and he's like, well, I collect scarves, so ended up getting that. And that's kind of like my thing, have scarves to commemorate different moments in my life.
I love that.
That's
I love that.
beautiful.
KG, that was a great question. And Alex, give a quick plug for your prowess and expertise in the fashion industry. If you could please
Yes,
tell the people about that,
indeed.
because we're all multifaceted here. And
Ooh.
I don't know if we talked about what you got going on in the fashion world.
So that's a very loaded question. So I've been sewing and designing for what would be, I believe it has to be like 11 or 12 years now. I specialize in animal hides and snake skins and those kind of things. Lots of furs, which again can be very expensive. So I spent a lot of years developing my pattern making skills for all the fashion people that may be out there. Um, but my expertise was in bag making. So I'm a bag maker by trade. And finally, I'm getting to the point where I have the time and the money to start pushing out the fashion brand. So I'm getting into making actual clothes now.
Mm-hmm.
Love
he
it.
said he a bag maker.
Yep.
Physically and metaphor.
Yep.
I have
Always.
this is an older bag next to me, but
Oh, we get to see one.
Uh-oh.
yeah, this is the one that everybody likes.
Nice.
This is
Oh.
white leather.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
Everyone likes this one because this is actually not bag leather. This is boot leather. So this is a very heavy bag.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Wow.
He said heavy bags.
Right.
Not just any bag, heavy bags.
That's right. That's right. This is the dynamic all-star team we have formed at BVP.
Yes.
Multifaceted. So many things, so many skill sets, areas of expertise. And we truly believe that we can achieve great things together. So I will close with my favorite African proverb, which is that if you want to go, you go together. So join the herd. www.b.partners. Subscribe to our email list so you get updates when we go live. You can get your merch, you can get your coffee, but you more importantly can join our community of entrepreneurs and investors who are building wealth together. Gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to each of you if you would like to share any parting words. But I think we had a good time tonight.
Oh,
What do you
yeah,
think?
very much so. Very much so. Alex's first show. Yeah, we only going up, man.
Yes, sir. We are only going up because next week I will have something on. I'm going to put it on.
Oh,
I can't tell you what it's going to be. No,
but it's going to be on. We don't know what we put on, but it's going to be on.
It has to be a surprise, but yes, it will be on. Alex, you have done something, my friend. Got the Louis scarves in the background like this. Next week, Thursday.
He brought the Louis card, brought out a bag of people like, damn, okay.
Yeah, so elevation, constant elevation. Yeah, any parting words, my brothers?
What do I have? Alex, you go first.
So I spoke about the guest speaker that I had in my class, who, you know, again, the man talks about millions like it's nothing. And one thing that he said was that you gotta be able to open yourself to do things for free or do things for what you feel like are undervalued at your time to actually understand yourself and understand where you need to go with your journey.
Powerful.
That's nice. Okay. The one thing that's sitting on me right now, and it's I don't know what it is about 30 that you just start seeing things different. But one thing that kind of hit me was just the word message, right? And when people are trying to find, I guess, I think sometimes people have trouble like telling their story, right? And within that, there's the phrase message, right? And if you break down message, there's mess and then there's age. So if you let your mess age, you figure out the message in between it. So I just, that sat with me. I was like, damn, that's a whole word right there. So if you do not know how to tell your story, just take the message you have, you let it age, and then you're going to get the wisdom within it. So that's what I got for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, B Bass. The B stands for benediction. If you did not know, now you know. Now you know.
Oh, man. Just trying to give y'all something, man.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it every week. My brothers, I thank you. B, thank you for the deal. Rejoy is one we're going to keep our eyes on.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone's interested in it, check it out on wefunder.com. REJOY is the name of the company. Just search that in the search bar and you'll be able to find it. But we will be back next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, around the herd. So if you enjoyed your time here, we hope to see you next week. Alex, thank you for joining us for your first show.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to many more. And we will see you all next time around the herd.